Hello Virgos, this is Sarah with Sarah Bear Tarot, and this is a November month ahead reading for you, Virgo. But there's not just one reading here. It's broken down into three, one for each decan of your sign. Now don't worry if you do not know which decan you were born in. I will make a comment before each pile, and you can also find it in the description box in the timestamps below. If you would like, you can jump ahead to your pile, or you can watch them all. If you were born on the cusp of a decan, you might have two piles here, so pay attention to that. Now let's get going. Okay, so this is for first decan Virgo. That's those of you born August 24th through September 3rd. You may have had a recent disappointment, but you have started to move on from it. And now in November, I think you would do well to give yourself time to rest, recuperate, and reflect. Now, the rune we have for you is Yera. This is year, and it speaks of the cycles of life, really. And you plant the seeds, water them, nurture them, and wait for them to grow. You are an earth sign, so this goes very well with Queen of Coins. I think you'll be connecting more deeply with your soul and really getting back into alignment and regrounding yourself. Now we have this spindle tree. This is a new deck, so it's kind of fun. I'm going to try it out and see what it says. And it seems that this card speaks of insight and clarity, a flash of insight. There's a connection with this tree and thunder and lightning. It reminds you you are most fulfilled when putting in the work and working to the utmost of your abilities, regardless of the payment. Now your oracle card, ambition. And this is actually Tarot Atea, but it's wildly different from regular tarot, so I'm kind of using it more as an oracle deck right now. So it really seems that you are very focused on business, building your business, and on the material realm, but trying to figure out how you can do it in a way that it's satisfactory, regardless of whether or not it's bringing in tons of money. There's patience here. Like, you can build towards something even more, but just a little bit more patience. I think you've likely been pushing yourself really hard, and maybe relax a little bit. You're very driven and ambitious and focused, so you may need to pull your attention back to what matters most to you, and that is harmony and happiness and peace. And don't focus so much on the material. Get out of your head. We have swords, and that is a very mind-dominant energy. As a relationship reading, it does feel like there has been difficult times that you have had to move on from, but you're in it for the long haul, or at least you're going to try. If you have difficulties with each other in communication, you may maybe even want to seek counseling or something to help with that. If you're single, I think you're maybe newly single, and I just feel like before hopping into a relationship, you have a lot of healing and thinking to do. You need to get back into balance with yourself and the present moment. Don't get so driven by the feeling you need someone that you miss this chance to really become more independent and compassionate and caring. So I do recommend some alone time, to figure out who you are and what you really, really want. I think maybe in a year, you'll have a lot of new clarity and a new relationship coming in. Just remember, the amount of effort you put into yourself and becoming a better person increases your chances of finding a healthy relationship for the future. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to Virgo second decan. This is for those of you born September 4th through September 13th. And to begin with, I think you've been going after a passion pursuit. And I feel like you're doing this independently, and like you are pushing yourself very, very hard. The Five of Wands may speak of competition or disagreements, or can even be a battle within yourself. And we have the rune Hagalaz, so this is hail. So there are obstacles, and you may need to step back and stop trying to force a situation. Now, with the Moon card, you are likely feeling anxious and having doubts about your path and worrying about whether or not you can make it happen. But, there is a season for all things. And I think you just need to go through this cycle because it's just a basic part of life. Sometimes obstacles come up because they're divine roadblocks and we're not ready to go forward yet. All right, the Ash. Hang on. This deck is new to me. I'm going to go ahead and read you the passage. Since the Ash carries keys, winged fruits, choosing this card is a key to a more universal comprehension of how all things are linked, everything being connected, earthly and spiritual, yourself and the cosmos, lowest and highest. Your deeds form part of the far greater, even endless chain of events, and your own inner pathways have their reaction in the outer world. Looking at your life in this wider context and being aware of yourself linked to and being a part of a larger pattern or system will bring enhanced understanding to your particular problems or specific questions. So perhaps these obstacles are there because it's actually not a part of your journey at all. I've thought of this before. Sometimes when something bad happens to us and we feel like, maybe the universe is against us, or I shouldn't be doing this, and that's my sign. Instead of doing that, sometimes accidents happen or difficulties come up. Maybe it's simply because someone else's journey intersected your journey, and they required you to be blocked so that they could move forward. We simply aren't the only ones on a journey, though we get very self-centered and we think, only about ourselves, but it's not all about us. And now the Tarot card, the Good Woman. This is a queen. This is a Queen of Wands, actually. But in this deck, she is a woman of the country. She's almost more of a Queen of Coins. She's gentle, compassionate. So don't push yourself so hard. Try to be more understanding and gentle with yourself and life. Clarity will come in soon for you. I'm wondering if maybe, because the Ash is of the 5th month, and we also have 5 of Wands, so we have this element of 5. Maybe in May, so in spring, when things begin to thaw and bloom again, maybe in May you will find the dark cycle ends, and a new sunny cycle will begin, and you'll get back on your path and back on track, back to being centered and ready to rule and lead. Moving on to third DECAN Virgo now, and that is for those of you born September 14th through September 22nd. And we have Earth in here. So I think you're feeling in your element at this time. You're working hard. There's teamwork, collaboration. You're balancing life and work. There's two worlds that you're pulling together and doing a really good job of it. And I'm feeling like in November, because with the Hierophant and the 3 of Coins, this speaks of groups. So I'm wondering if you'll be joining a group or taking a class or doing something to enhance your learning. Maybe you'll go on a spiritual retreat or sign up for a yoga class or something spiritual, because the Hierophant is a very spiritual energy. And we have the rune Tiwaz, which is the rune of victory and going into a battle and winning, knowing what sacrifices to make for the greater good. Here we have Le Questionnement. This is chaos, but not the kind of chaos you're used to, not turmoil. It's about the formlessness of space, an emptiness with no shape that can be turned into anything, that can become anything. So it's like you are creating your life and it can be anything you want it to be. I feel like the sky is the limit for you. Okay, so read. This is your card. Let me look it up. All right, this is what it's about. With the read, you are able to find direction and to give meaning and purpose to your journey that started at the beginning of the year in November, according to the old calendar. Once the journey has been entered upon, then surprise encounters and upsets are only to be expected. The skills to overcome these short-lived troubles are as important and essential as making the journey in the first place. So you're coming full circle in November, and then it feels like a new cycle is going to begin. You've done really well this year. You've brought two worlds into balance. You may have even gotten married. I have a couple cards here that might suggest that. So ultimately, it's been a victorious year, and I think you should prepare for the new year to come. I think the new cycle starts now. As a relationship card, this looks really nice. I think you're deepening your connection and perhaps planning on building a family or thinking about having children, maybe thinking about moving. If you're single, I think someone will be coming in for you soon, as this is a new cycle beginning. Maybe you will meet them they'll be long distance. It could be that you meet them in church or school or some sort of group activity, but it does feel like you're moving towards a victorious connection, a victorious and deeply committed relationship.